everyone, my name is Amber, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated releases for 2021. So I used to do these videos every single month in which I would talk about my most anticipated new releases for the coming month. But I'm changing that up in 2021. I'm going to be doing them quarterly. However, this is going to be my most anticipated releases video for the entire year. So I'm going to try to pack as many as I can into here and include the ones that I am super excited for. And then every quarter I'll also be doing a new releases video for the books that are coming out in that season. So those lists, those quarterly lists, will be more in depth than this one, but I still have a lot of releases to talk about in this video. I have about 30 books to talk about today, so let's get into it. The first one I want to mention is You'll Be the Death of Me by Karen M. McManus. This is another YA thriller from her. She has written 4 YA thrillers so far, and I think she does a really good job. Her books keep improving each year, and I think she does a really good job at creating suspense and also writing teenagers, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. It says here it's about 3 friends who skip school and get caught up in a crime they can't solve without exposing their secrets. And this one doesn't have a release date yet, I don't think. It just says it's coming out in 2021. Next we have a debut that was supposed to come out in 2020, but because that was a shitstorm, it didn't. This is The Gilded Ones. This one is YA fantasy. It says here that the main character lives in fear and anticipation of the blood ceremony that will determine whether she will be able to become a member of her village. Already different from everyone else because of her unnatural intuition, Dacre prays for red blood so she can finally feel like she belongs, but on the day of the ceremony her blood runs gold, the colour of impurity. So this is about a teenager with powers, and I think she goes to join the army with other girls who are just like her with other powers, and I imagine they all have different ones. And if she has some kind of intuition, I'm wondering if she can see the future, and I love tropes like that, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. So the author has said that this one examines the patriarchy and who does or doesn't thrive under it, so it clearly has feminist tones to it. I'm really looking forward to reading it. Next we have another debut which is called We Are the Fire by Sam Taylor. This one is said to be perfect for fans of An Emperor in the Ashes and Spartacus, so I think it's Roman inspired fantasy. It says here that in this world, children are stolen from their families by a cruel emperor and forced to undergo a horrific transformation procedure and serve in the army as magical fire-wielding soldiers. 2 main characters are taken from their homelands at a young age. One wants to rebel against their oppressors and destroy the empire, and the other only wants to return home and create a peaceful life for them both. This one sounds fantastic. I've got an advanced reader's copy of this one from NetGalley and I can't wait to read it. I love The Legend of Spartacus. I love books about rebellions, and I also love Roman inspired fantasy, so this one sounds perfect. The next one is by an author who I have read from before, and that is The Project by Courtney Summers. This one is a YA thriller. I think this one is about cults, and I loved Sadie by Courtney Summers. I read some of her earlier books as well, but I didn't adore them, but Sadie was absolutely fantastic, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one when it comes out in February. And again, we have another debut, which is Witches Steeped in Gold. As you can see by the cover, this is about 2 young women who I believe are witches. It says here that Jasmine is the queen's daughter, but unlike her sister before her, she has no intention of dying to strengthen her mother's power. Araya has spent her life in a cell, but every day brings her closer to freedom and vengeance. It says that it's Jamaican inspired. I'm really looking forward to reading it. It should be really good. The next one is another one by an author who I've read from before and I really enjoy, and that is The Initial Insult by Mindy McGuinness. This is a YA mystery thriller, and it's actually the first in the series, so I'm interested in seeing where it goes. I don't often read thrillers that are part of a series. I'm not going to read the whole synopsis because I don't like to read synopses for thrillers, but the tagline says, "Welcome to," I don't know how to say the town name, Amontillado, Ohio, where your last name is worth more than money and secrets can be kept for a price. First book of this duology draws inspiration from Edgar Allan Poe and masterfully delivers a dark, propulsive mystery and alternating points of view that unravels a friendship forevermore. I haven't read any Edgar Allan Poe myself, but looking forward to reading this one. I really enjoy Mindy McGuinness's writing. The next one is You Have a Match, which is by the author of Tweet Cute. This is another YA contemporary by her. The main character of this one signs up for a DNA test, and then she finds out that she has a secret sister who she then seeks out. And I really enjoy books about found families or secret families because I sometimes find them quite relatable for reasons I will not say. I'm really looking forward to reading this one and finding out why the parents gave up one child for adoption. The next one is The Ivis by Alexa Dunn, who you probably all know from BookTube or AuthorTube. I've never read anything by Alexa Dunn before, and also I freaking hate this cover, but I'm really looking forward to reading this one and giving it a go. I might do a project where I read all of Alexa Dunn's books and see if I like them or see which one is best. This one is a YA thriller. Again, I'm not going to read the synopsis because I don't do that, but I think it's something about the admissions of getting into Ivy League colleges. The next one is The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharp, which I do have as a review copy and I'm really looking forward to reading it. This one I think is about a girl called Nora whose mother or father is a con artist, and she has been forced to lead several different lives by the time that she's a teenager, and I'm assuming because it's by Tess Sharp that there's going to be LGBTQ rep and it's going to be a really good book. The Ladies of the Secret Circus. This one is historical fantasy fiction, I think. It's set partly in Paris in 1925 and it follows a woman called Cecile who is part of a circus act, and then it's also set in Virginia in 2005 where it follows a woman called Lara whose husband disappears on her wedding day. So I don't know if it's going to be slightly a mystery story as well. Either way, I'm intrigued. There's a lot of different elements here that sound like my kind of thing. The Unbroken, which is an adult fantasy book. It says here that the main character is a soldier who is stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. Her only loyalty is to her fellow conscripts. Her company has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. I think this is based on historical events, or at least real life history in Northern Africa. The author has also said that it's real gay, so we will see. The next one is The History of What Comes Next by the author of Sleeping Giants. This one is a sci-fi thriller that has been compared to Blake Crouch and Andy Weir, who are both authors that I do enjoy in that genre, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. The next one is by Neil Shusterman, who is one of my favourite authors. He has been for a while, and that is Game Changer. This one is YA sci-fi fantasy, I believe. It says here that all it takes is one hit on the football field and suddenly Ash's life doesn't look quite the way he remembers it. Impossible though it seems, he's been hit into another dimension, and he keeps on bouncing through worlds that are almost but not really his own. I love parallel universe stuff and I really enjoy Neil Shusterman's writing, so like I said, I'm looking forward to reading this one. Can't wait to get my hands on it. The next one is Heartbreak by Rachel Kane. I've actually already read this one, and Rachel Kane was an author that I really enjoyed. Unfortunately, she passed away in the autumn of 2020, and I just wanted to mention her book here because I would like to keep supporting her estate. She is a very good author and she has released so many books, but Heartbreak Bay is the 5th book, I believe, in the Stillhouse Lake series, which is an adult mystery thriller series. It's really dark, really fast paced, and one of the best mystery thriller series that I have read. Next we have Dustbourn by Erin Bowman, which is apparently a post-apocalyptic western for fans of Mad Max and Gunslinger Girl. I haven't read Gunslinger Girl myself, but I did really enjoy Mad Max. It's one of my all-time favourite films. So I think this is about a girl who has to travel across the wasteland in order to rescue her family. The next one is The Galaxy and the Ground Fin by Becky Chambers, which is coming out in February. I do have a review copy of this one, and hopefully as you're watching this I'm about to start reading it and I cannot wait. This is the 4th book in the Wayfarer series, which is a really wholesome, adorable sci-fi series about found family, people coming together, love and friendship, and it's just adorable, and I'm rereading all of them in preparation for The Galaxy and the Ground Within. I cannot wait to get to this one. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. Speaking of Becky Chambers, she also has another book coming out in 2021, which means that 2021 is definitely going to be miles better than 2020 just because of this alone. So this is a short story, a novella. I think it's about 150-160 pages, and it's called A Psalm for the Wild Built. So I think in this one, according to the synopsis that is quite brief, robots gained self-awareness and they left humans behind because we're a disgrace. One day a robot arrives and comes to find a tea monk, and the robot asks, what do people need? And this is the first in the series. I think she's probably going to be writing a series of short novellas, and I'm so excited. I'm definitely going to miss her Wayfarers series, but hopefully she keeps coming out with spacey and sci-fi stuff. I will be so happy if she does. Next we have The Jasmine Throne, which is an adult fantasy book. This is by the author of Empire of Sand, which I haven't finished reading, but I have started and I did really enjoy it. That series is about Jinn, and this new trilogy is also inspired by Indian mythology. It says here that it's about a captive princess and a maidservant who are in possession of forbidden magic, and they become unlikely allies on a dark journey to save their empire from the princess's traitor brother. I love the sound of this one. I love that it's part of a new trilogy that's going to come out, and I'm really excited for it. Next we have one that's probably going to be on so many people's lists, and that is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I of course really enjoyed Evelyn Hugo. I loved Daisy Jones, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. It's another historical literary book. Next we have The Divines, which is an adult contemporary literary fiction kind of thing. This one, all I know about it is it's set in a boarding school, and I think it's also a debut, and it's meant to be a bit like Normal People meets The Girls, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Of course, I love books that are set in boarding schools. I really like the rich people drama. A Dark and Secret Place, which is an adult mystery thriller. This says that it's perfect for fans of Jane Harper and Rachel Kane, both of whom I mention in this video, so it's perfect. This one is about a woman who discovers her late mother had secretly been corresponding with a serial killer for decades. That's all I want to know about it. I think it sounds really good. It sounds really creepy as well. The battery ran out on my camera and now it's been a few hours since I recorded the last bit, so I can't remember where I was. Let's hope that I don't forget a book. Okay, so I think I was up to The Conductors, which is an adult historical fiction fantasy book. This is another debut book, and it has been compared to the Dresden Files and Octavia Butler's Kindred. It says here that Hetty Rhodes, a magic user and former conductor on the Underground Railroad, now solves crimes in post-Civil War Philadelphia. So maybe it's kind of like a murder mystery with some steampunk and magical elements, perhaps. Next, I want to talk about Sister Song, which I am so excited for. This one is coming out in April, so we've got a little while to go. I do have a review copy of it, and I can't wait to read it. This one is set in the 6th century, I believe. Yeah, so it's about 3 characters. The first is scarred from a terrible fire and fears she'll never heal. Second is a woman, but she's kind of battling to be seen as the king's son and heir. The third is a spoiled young girl who yearns for romance, and it's set in an ancient kingdom that the Romans used to rule, but now they've abandoned it. I really like historical fiction. I'm hoping this is going to be kind of like Circe vibes, and it sounds really good. Next we have a YA sci-fi, which is The Infinity Courts. It says here that the main character is certain her life is just beginning. She's just graduated from high school, is on her way to a party, and then she is murdered before she gets there. Naomi wakes up. She learns she's in a place called Infinity, where human consciousness goes when physical bodies die. So that sounds kind of like a limbo purgatory kind of thing, and it sounds quite good, really interesting. This one comes out in April as well, from Simon & Schuster. Sorry, I'm looking down. I've got all the information down here. I'm hoping that 2 of my favourite authors come out with new books next year. This year, rather. I think we're in 2021 now, because I love their books. So the first is Jane Harper, who wrote The Dry, Force of Nature, The Lost Man, and The Survivors. She writes really good thrillers. Can't wait to read her next one whenever it comes out. And then Ruth Ware as well. She tends to bring out a new book every year, and I don't know what she's got planned at the moment, if anything, but I've loved most her books that I've read from her, so I'm looking forward to whatever she comes out with in the near future. Morgan Matson is definitely coming out with a new book in 2021. This one is called Take Me Home Tonight. This is going to be a YA contemporary, like all of her books are. It says here that Kat and Stevie are best friends, but they're opposites in almost every way. They want to sneak out to spend the perfect night together in New York City. Plan is to go to the hottest restaurant, see an underground show, and have an adventure along the way. But I think things start to go wrong, and it's a bit of a disaster, and I'm really looking forward to reading about all the drama and the romance and the friendship. Next we have a book by another author who I've read from before, and that is With You All the Way by Cynthia Hand. So the main character's boyfriend cheats on her, she breaks up with him, and then she goes on holiday to Hawaii with her mum, I think. And then she finds out that her mum has also been cheating on her dad, and I think she kind of has a bit of a conflict about it because she obviously does not like cheaters. I'm also really looking forward to reading Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune, who wrote The House in the Cerulean Sea and other books as well. This is going to be another adult fantasy LGBTQ book, and I love the cover. I love the cover of The House in the Cerulean Sea as well, so I think this one's probably going to be like either a companion book or it's going to have like very similar vibes. It says here that when a reaper comes to collect Wallace Price from his own funeral, Wallace suspects he really might be dead. Instead of leading him directly to the afterlife, the Reaper takes him to a small village. On the outskirts is a particular tea shop run by a man named Hugo. Hugo is the tea shop's owner to locals and the ferryman to souls who need to cross over. So I think the main character gets with the tea shop owner slash the ferryman, and I think this one sounds really cute. It's going to be adorable, I just know it. And with that, I think those are all the books that I was going to mention. There should be about 28 to 30 books here, and I obviously have way more that I am looking forward to. Stay tuned for another new releases video coming up in a few days. It's going to cover my most anticipated January to March new releases, and it's going to get a bit more in depth and a bit more specific for you. Until then, let me know what your most anticipated books are for 2021 in the comments below, and I'll speak to you all in the next video. Bye.